Welcome, and thank you for joining us. We're very pleased that you and your school have elected to participate in the Immunization Education course pilot. The objectives of this webinar are to introduce you to and inform you about the course, to review the goals of the course, to provide available resources to you, and to answer some of the most frequently asked questions. As you may know, Arizona law on school immunization requirements are developed for the primary purpose of protecting schools, students, staff, and visitors against vaccine-preventable diseases. Vaccinations are required for school attendance to protect children and our communities from exposure to these diseases which may not be seen often but are still around, and outbreaks happen each year that affect schools and communities. The statutes and rules together set out general and specific requirements and guidelines for the schools to understand and comply with. In Arizona, 3 types of exemptions are allowed. Medical exemptions are allowed for child care preschool and all K-12 schools. Religious beliefs exemptions are only allowed in child care and preschool. And personal beliefs exemptions are only allowed in grades K through 12. The Arizona Department of Health Services is concerned that personal beliefs exemption rates are rising in Arizona schools in these reportable grades. This data was collected from the Immunization Data Report information that you and all schools submit on a yearly basis. This means that protection against vaccine-preventable diseases is compromised in our school communities, putting students, families, schools, and communities at risk for an outbreak. This chart shows the difference between school types and the percentage of personal beliefs exemptions within those school types. As you can see, the highest exemption rates can be found in charter schools at approximately 9%, followed by private and district schools. One focus of the immunization education course is to decrease the use of personal beliefs exemptions. Parents of a child in child care or preschool seeking a religious beliefs exemption and parents of any students seeking a medical exemption do not need to take this course, even if they are at a participating school. Arizona statutes specify that a parent will submit a signed form stating that the parent received information about immunizations provided by the Department of Health Services. This includes the risks and benefits of immunization and the potential risks of non-immunization. The immunization education course is designed to deliver the immunization information to the parent. The laws have not changed and exemptions are still available. Only the process has changed, with a focus on education of parents. The course is set up to be visual and interactive with the intent to keep attention and help parents learn about immunizations. The Department of Health Services does not collect or store personal information. This is for parental privacy, and parents are informed in the beginning of the course and through the website information that they need to commit the time and effort to complete the course once they begin. If they were to leave or log out of the course for any reason prior to completion and have not completed the exemption form or printed it, they would have to start the course again. Parents are encouraged to be near or have access to a printer in order to print out the exemption form at the end. However, understanding that not all families have a printer, parents are allowed to take a photo or screenshot if doing the course on a phone or tablet, for example. But they must then go somewhere that has a printer or send the exemption form to the school. This would be so the school could print it out. The important thing to remember here is that the parent must still come to the school and sign the form in order for it to be valid. Parents who do not have a computer or a printer may visit their local library, or if the school chooses to, they may make a computer and printer available for parents to complete the course and print the exemption form. The course includes information on Arizona law, how vaccines work, the risks and benefits of vaccines, instructions on how to obtain an exemption form through the online course, and along the way, links to vaccination resources. If during the course the parent decides to vaccinate their child, They can find a location to obtain vaccinations on the Resources tab and simply click out of the course. Parents are reminded that if their child does receive vaccinations, the up-to-date immunization record must be given to the school health office. Parents must be provided with the information about how to locate their child's immunization record. The parent information flyer includes this information. The online course provides opportunities for parents to visit resources and learn even more about vaccines. They can learn about required vaccinations for school entry, vaccine safety information, where to locate their child's immunization record, and more. The introduction of the course is approximately 15 minutes long, and each module, 6 in all, run about 8 minutes each. Directions in the course explain to parents to allow for at least an hour or more to complete the course. Parents review one module for each vaccine that they would like to exempt their child from. The total length of time that the course will take will depend on how many modules the parents are watching and how many of the provided resources the parent stops to watch. The pilot protocol states that school staff will provide parents requesting a personal beliefs exemption form with the parent information flyer created by the Department of Health Services. This contains information and the link to the online course. Parents are to complete the course and then return the completed and signed exemption form generated by the online course back to the school. Participating schools are invited to post information about the course pilot on their website, in enrollment packages, at the front desk, and in the health office so that parents are informed of the school's participation in the pilot and the expectations of the parent. School staff no longer hand out a personal beliefs exemption form, but rather hand out the parent information flyer that directs parents to the course. Once parents have completed the required modules, they will print out a hard copy personal beliefs exemption form, sign it, and return it to the school health office. We understand that there may be questions about this new protocol, so the Department of Health Services has developed a special website for the Immunization Education course, which contains information and resources, including a handbook, parent FAQs, school FAQs, and a parent information sheet for this new process. Please go to the link to access these materials. Let's review those website resources so that you know what is available and how to use them. It would be a good idea for you to print these forms out and place in a reference folder in the health office or even in the school front office. It is not our intention or recommendation that you print all of these forms out to provide to parents. The only form that you need to provide to parents is the parent information flyer. Let's review a few of the most important and useful resources available to you. The parent information flyer is a 3-page informational flyer that you can make copies of and have available for when a parent asks you about a personal beliefs exemption form. You will explain that your school is participating in the statewide pilot of the course, provide them with the flyer, and direct them to the link on the page that will take them to the Department of Health Services Immunization Education course website. Explain that once the course is completed, they are to return the signed exemption form back to the school. You could also tell them that if they decide to immunize their child instead of taking the course, that they need to be sure to return an up-to-date immunization record to the school. Another important thing to emphasize is that their child may not be allowed to attend school unless an immunization record or valid exemption form is on file at the school. Participating schools are invited to post information about the course pilot on their website, in enrollment packages, at the front desk, and in the health office so that parents are informed of the school's participation in the pilot and the expectations of the parent. The pilot process flowchart is another useful tool to assist both health office staff and school front office staff to know what steps to follow once the parent asks for an exemption form. This is a letter from the Department of Health Services Director inviting and encouraging schools to participate in the Immunization Education course pilot and to be part of this critically important initiative to reduce exemption rates and increase protection against vaccine-preventable diseases. The Immunization Education course handbook is your guide to a successful program. This handbook contains information not only about the purpose, timelines, and allowable exemption forms, but also record keeping, special admission scenarios, and FAQs about follow-up and enforcement. A listing of county health departments is also available, along with a list of online resources. A set of frequently asked questions is available for both school staff and for parents. Along with the handbook, these FAQs will help to answer many of your questions. You are always welcome to call us here at the Arizona Immunization Program office, or you may also call your county health departments for assistance as well. Here is an example of what the online personal belief exemption form will look like. Following completion of the online course, a personal beliefs exemption form will be generated by the online course. It will clearly state which immunizations the student is exempted from. The parent will print this out and return the form to their school. We've made every effort to make this tamper-proof, but there are always ways around electronic forms. It will be important for you to review the form and make sure it is signed and valid. If the parent makes any notes on the form or adds or crosses out any information, the form becomes invalid and they will need to repeat the online course to obtain a new valid form. Personal beliefs exemption forms will still be available online for other non-participating schools. It's important that you inform parents that your school is participating in the pilot and access to the personal belief exemption is through the course. Please note that students already enrolled in your school with a valid exemption form on file do not need to take the course unless they meet one of our basic criteria. Entering or transferring to a new K-12 school, or there's a new vaccine that's required for a certain age, such as the vaccines required when a student turns 11 years of age. Parents of children in childcare or preschool that have a religious belief exemption who will be entering K-12 systems and desire to not vaccinate their children must complete the course for a personal beliefs exemption. While there will be hundreds of schools involved in this pilot, other non-participating schools may see the immunization education course personal beliefs exemption forms brought to them. This is because some parents have children of different ages and in different schools, and they may take the course and print exemption forms for all of them at the same time. If parents do bring a valid signed form from the online course to a non-participating school, please accept it. Pilot schools are asked to only accept the personal belief exemption generated from the immunization education course. The standard hard copy form will still be available online for other non-participating schools to have access to it. If the pilot course has started in your school and a parent were to bring you a copy of the standard form, you are to inform them that your school is participating in the course pilot and direct them to the online course. One of the most frequent questions that the Department of Health Services Immunization Program Office gets is, what do you do when a parent won't complete the course and doesn't provide an immunization record? Explain that the school is participating in the pilot and that ADHS has set the protocol for participation in the pilot. The Department of Health Services, by law, has the authority to define exemption form protocol. This means that, by protocol, at a pilot school, obtaining an exemption form is through completion of the course. The school can refer parents to the Department of Health Services Immunization Program Office, where we will educate and inform the parent about the pilot and course requirements. If the parent remains resistant to both school and ADHS explanation of the program protocol, the final decision of exclusion will lie with the school. But consider this. The number of students requesting an exemption is fairly low. Excluding those students who do not provide a record or an exemption form is less than the number who call in absent each day. Our historical perspective is that when the student is excluded for no immunization record and no exemption form, they are usually back that very same day or the next day. Sticking to pilot protocol may reduce the overall numbers of absences each year and could better protect your school from vaccine-preventable diseases. If you have questions, please call the Immunization Program office. We are here to assist you in running a successful pilot. Thank you for participating in this important work of protecting students, families, and communities. This is the end of the webinar. Please have a wonderful day.